Hey guys, Zedd here bringing you another Xianghua video. I've got something real special for you today. I'm gonna show you a tech that I don't think any Xianghua knows about quite yet. It's one I've kind of held in my pocket for a really long time, but I'm totally down to share it. But it's going to be at the latter end of the video, so watch it through to see what I'm talking about. Anyway, today I want to go over just kind of in a broad sense her Xianghua's crouch state, her wall rising state, and things like insta full crouch and reverse crouch canceling or instant crouch canceling. People use different terms, and I'll go over kind of what that all means in this video. And in using these functions, both instant full crouch and reverse crouch canceling, you are able to do some really cheeky, janky things that are awesome. So anyway, let's get right into it. To start off, we'll talk about her full crouch moves and her while rising moves first, or at least the notable ones. So Xianghua arguably, I think, has the best full crouch and while rising moves in the game, just as a whole. She may not have the single strongest one, but she has many options that you're happy to use. So, for example, you have moves like, of course, full crouch 3B, right? This thing is a safe launcher. It's a little slow, but it's fully safe, and it leads to her highest damaging, mid-screen B and B, right? So all that's great. And then you've got, of course, 3A with that follow-ups. You have 3A-B, then you have 3A-A. This is also very good. It's a low-high, but it's very, very quick. So this is an excellent move as well. You have, pardon me, you have full crouch 3K. This move doesn't see a lot of use by a lot of Xianghua players. I personally quite like this move. I actually use it quite a lot, and it is unsafe on block. However, it's a little tricky to punish because of just the way she's moving and the tech crouch frames built in and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not really afraid to throw the move out, and I'm a big fan. So those are some of her more notable full crouch attacks. I mean, of course, she has her crouching A, 2K, right? But these are generic buttons, so I'm not going to bother getting into those. Her wall rising buttons are some of the good ones are B. Right, with that, it does excellent guard damage, it does pretty good damage, and it actually just leads to a follow-up on regular hit, which is awesome. So 46 damage for a wall rising B. This thing's very quick, so it's a great option. Wall rising A or wall rising AA is a weird one. You can definitely have a bit of a mind game with this because the single A will leave you in a crouch state, so you can constantly do this. As you can see, I'm just hitting A, I'm not doing anything else. But if you do a double, now you're back to standing. So there is that. So if you use single A, 3B, right, and catch them sleeping or something, things like that. So that one's not bad. And her wall rising K, it's super fast, but it's not really great. It does have a follow-up with B or K hold, right, like that. But neither of these options are great. The B rarely hits people. It's more or less if you catch them sleeping. But the slow transition makes it just kind of too risky, and it's not really worth the reward. But then the K hold kind of has the same problem. It's really slow. If you're in soul charge though, it's not all bad because of the innate auto GI. So sometimes, that's not terrible. So it is an option, but I don't really use wall rising K much, I don't use the follow-ups wall rising K much personally. So those are kind of some of her wall rising moves and crouch moves that are worth noting. Now the reason I go over those is because I want to talk about instant full crouching. Instant full crouch is a technique used in I think a lot of other fighters, but forgive me, I don't know if that's true. But it definitely is true for Soul Calibur, and it is 100% true for Xianghua, at least if you want to use her to her maximum potential. Instant full crouch refers to the ability of crouching and then doing your wall rising move as quickly as you possibly can. And it does get easier with time, and it does get smoother, if you will, in a real game scenario, I will admit. So as I'm demonstrating it for you today, it may not look as clean, but in a game, it's quite good. So things like, insta full crouch 3A, right? Doing things like this is really nice because, it's super quick low, and this is, a true combo, so it's really nice. Or insta full crouch 3B, right? This one's a classic. You just throw this out whenever you want to, really, and then you get a full extension. So that's a really nice one. And then the one that I like to do is insta full crouch 3K. Big fan of this move, like I said. And the last one that is worth you doing instantly is going to be instant while rising B, like this. So how you do this is there's a few ways to go about this. Depending on whether or not you play on pad, hitbox, or stick, kind of determines what the easiest method is. And some people also find it easier to do when they're running up, so it's like this, for example, right? Like that. What I do, and I'll tell you why I do it the way I do it, is I do G2, 3, input. Or, sorry, yeah, if I was doing instant full crouch 3B, G2, 3, let go of G, B. Right, and you can kind of see that with my inputs here. And there's a reason I do it this way. I don't recommend doing 3G, 3B. And the reason why is if you are on, I mean, I can do it on hitbox just fine, but if you're on a stick or a pad, you may accidentally get GI, right? Just because maybe you didn't go down far enough to get your 3, right? Because the 3 direction on anything but, hitbox can be inconsistent, right? So I don't necessarily recommend doing 3G, 3B, unless you're, like, if your stick joystick maybe has a notch in the 3 location, or you're really confident with your pad skills. I don't recommend doing it that way. I would recommend G2, 3B, right? Or, whatever the button is, I'd recommend doing G2 or 2G, right? And then your direction, okay? But you can do it however you want. People do 3G, 3B. People do the way I do it, 2G, 3B. Some people like to run up and just kind of do it all at once. So like 6-6, 3B, sorry, 6-6, 3G, 3B, right? And that's okay, right? It's whatever's comfortable for you. So anyway, that is a technique that Xianghua players really should be using, or at least incorporating into their gameplay where they can, because her full crouch and while rising moves are really, really, really exceptional. And especially in the guard gauge meta, where while rising B does really nice guard damage. It's a nice little tool to throw out there, because her other guard damaging moves are not so great, such as 2-2K and B slide K. And so that is kind of the gist of insta full crouch, and I do recommend you use it. The last thing I want to talk about is reverse crouch cancel, or crouch cancel, or whatever. The idea is after you've done a move that leaves you in a crouch state, you can then instantly kind of step up and jitter forward. So there's a few examples of this in the game, and usually they're pretty tricky to find. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I have a kind of a back pocket one that I'll show you. But I'll show you one that's a little more consistent, or a little more well known. So when Xianghua is in her soul charge and she gets, pardon me, and she gets counter hit on her 3AA, right? Like that. You're able to, instead of doing the K, reverse crouch cancel into a crouch grab. So you, instead of doing, pardon me, instead of doing this, right? If you didn't want to do all that for whatever reason, or maybe the spacing didn't work out, right? That's also a pretty common issue with that particular sequence. Instead of just doing the while rising K, I can do whatever I want by kind of hitting 6-6, right? Like there we go. Yeah, so you can do this if you'd rather, and if you want to just cut the K, that's what I meant. So reverse crouch canceling is a thing. It's worth knowing how to do at least, and again, I recommend you do it. But the meat and potatoes of the video, my reverse crouch cancel tech that is worth learning in all facets is one that incorporates 3A on hit or 6BA on hit. So I will have this, and I'll get the bot to do 2A. Now Xianghua's 2A is one of the fastest in the game, and so this is a great example. This still works on slower ones other than things like Siegfried's and Cervantes, as they're a little too slow, but you're still going to hit them out of it anyway. What you're able to do is, oops, after a 3A or 6BA, as in the A hitting, you are able to reverse crouch cancel into 2A plus B against 2As or other low attacks. So I'll demonstrate that for you. I may not be able to get it first try because, demonstrating, but I will do my best. So you do 3A, 6-6 or 6-6-6, or kind of, you'll find how many 6s are comfortable for you, 2A plus B. So it should look something like this. Yeah, so first try, there we go, right? And this is real. This is like 100% a thing, and it is something I've tested against a lot of the casts and like 2Ks, 2As. It works against all of them. It depends on the frame data, of course, and the spacing. Um, but when it 100% works. So I'll show you now with 6BA. I think I have the bot set to do the right thing on 6BA. But let's see. No, I don't. Okay. So let's do. This might work. Let's see. Yeah, it should work. Okay. There you go. So, as you can see, it is worth learning, and it does work, because 3A and 6BA are fantastic options, and the opponent is pretty smart if they're deciding to 2A you all the time, because it means you've lost your turn. Because neither of those things are plus on hit, and that's because 3A has the 2 follow-up, and 6BA just isn't. So if you're conditioning the opponent and they're going in for 2As, even if you're blocking them constantly, right? Get them in the habit of doing that, and all of a sudden you just flex the frickin' lethal hit, and okay, bye, and then, you know, death. So, yeah, that's the bit of tech that I've been sitting on for a while. Again, if other Xianghuas know about it or use it, I don't know that they know it, so maybe this is old news, but I've never seen this, I've never heard about it. So anyway, point is, I hope you liked it. I hope maybe you learned something here, preferably more than just that. But try to do that. Try to lab out insta full crouch, reverse crouch cancel, and in my opinion, that is probably one of the most applicable applications of reverse crouch canceling in the entire game, and it just so happens to be for our girl Xianghua. So thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day.